Hello and welcome back. It's Linda from Gunlet Lane Jewellery. Normally I show you the finished design at the start, but this time I thought it would be fun to let the pendant slowly reveal itself as we create it step by step together. So stick with me. The final reveal is worth it, I promise. So I'll just grab all my supplies together and we'll get going. Okay, so let's get this Halloween pendant started. I've got a piece of 16 gauge wire here. I've cut 12 centimetres, which is, let me just look here quick, 12 is about 4 3/4 of an inch. I flush cut it at both ends, and I'm going to grab my dowel here, and I just want to show you, I've got this little set of dowels here, so I find they come in quite handy. That's the big one that sits in there, obviously, but they're all the different sizes, so they're great for, you know, all your things that you want to make. Okay, and it comes in that handy little pouch too, so that's great. You can keep them all together. All right, so we're just going to wrap this around our dowel, mandrel, whatever you've got. You just, like, you could use a pill bottle, you know, whatever you've got that's roughly the size that you want. You don't have to make it the same size I'm making it here. My fingers don't want to work today. Come on, fingers. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, I've got that around. Isn't it funny how some days things just don't want to work? Things that you do every day and it's just normal, and then it doesn't want to work. Okay, so I've got that going there. So I want to turn. I'm going to grab my 6-step pliers here, and I think that one's going to be a little bit long. I'm going to turn it and see what I think, and I can always trim it up. It's better to have it too long than not long enough. Oop. My hands are not only not working, they're weak today for some reason. Oh, that might be an all right length. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to turn this one in. This one might be the one that's going to be too long, I think. Oh, maybe not. My eyes are deceiving me. Goodness, my hands aren't working. My eyes are deceiving me. I want to thank everybody too for the response to the poll for this tutorial as well. As I mentioned, we don't celebrate Halloween in Australia, or it's very, very limited, and it's only been the recent years that it's even, I'm just having a look at this, seeing what I want to do here. Yeah, it's only been recent years that you sort of hear anything about it. You see a few houses decorated and a few kids doing trick-or-treating, but it's not a big thing. It never has been. It's an Irish tradition, not an Australian one, so I think that's why we don't celebrate it. Okay, I'm going to get my block and rubber hammer. You can use a metal hammer if you want to, you know, flatten it out a little bit more, but I don't want to. I don't want to change the shape. I just want to flatten it and strengthen it. And I'll see when I'm editing this if I can mute this sound. Okay, so I've done both sides there. just to make sure it's nice and sturdy. Okay, and now I've got 3 pieces here of 24 gauge wire, and I've cut them at 14 centimeters, which is 14 is 5.5 inches. Okay, I'm just going to bend that in half, or bend the whole 3 of them in half, just like that. I could have done them all together, but anyway, the way my brain works sometimes just amazes me. All right, so I'm going to put the first one on, and I'm bringing him up here to the top of my wire. I'm going to bring this one through. I'm just going to wire wrap it onto the frame. So bring this one through as well. That one over the front, and that one coming over the back. Push them together. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other ones. So what I'll do is I'll, to shorten this video, I'll come back. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing with the other 2 pieces of wire. When I've done that, I'll come back and we'll get moving on. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I've got the 3 of those wrapped on, and as I said, I just did it the same way as I did the first one. So we've got those sitting there like that. We're just going to grab hold of those wires now. But now, whichever way is the easiest for you to do this, however you hold it is what I'm getting at. Just push those together a bit more. And we're going to twist this wire, our tentacle wire here. I'm going to twist that twice. So however it's easiest, I'm going to grab my pliers. Actually, I'll try with my hand first and see how I go. And I'm going to use my pliers. So I'm going to twist that around once. Get that started with my hand, and then twice. Bring that up to the top here. Push those together. Just going to finish that twist. I didn't twist that actually twice. It was 1.5. Get those around nicely. Okay, we've got a little twist up there. Then we're going to separate our little tentacles here and try and find which order they go in. I'll start on this side actually, might make it easier. That one goes there, that one goes there. Goes over there, that goes over there. There. He's there and there. Okay, I think I've got that pretty right. We're just going to spread them out across the frame like that. Okay, and then we're going to just grab the first one here. Just sort of make sure that they're, you know, reasonably even. Now, I know you've probably seen other tutorials on spider webs. I've even done one a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and it was totally different to this. I haven't seen one like this one, like exactly like this one. I think it's just a little bit different because it comes off from the side. Most of the spider web ones you've seen, they start like this and then they come, you know, come out and go around. So I just thought this was a little bit different. That's why I thought I'd share it with you. So we're just going to lock this one into place. So we're going to wrap that around, pull it in nice and tight. Use your pliers. Wrap it around a second time. Use your pliers if you need to, get that nice and tight. Then I'm going to take the tentacle, or this piece of wire, Don't know why I'm calling it a tentacle. It's a spider web. And I'm going to wrap it around. Now, you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. You can just finish it off with 2 to 3 wraps there. But I just wanted to add a little bit more interest. So I thought I'd wrap it around here. Just like that. So I've wrapped it around twice. Just tidy up your wraps. Bring them up nice and close together. And then finish your wire off at the back. And tuck it in. Okay, so what we're going to do is continue on doing all of these coming around. So just spread them out the way that you think that they look nice. So I've got mine like started there. I could change, you know, move them up and down depending on what I think as I'm going along. So just to save time on the video, I'm not going to do all of them with you because we have a spider to make as well. And that takes a little bit of time. So I'll leave you with that here, and I'll finish these up, and then we'll come back and we'll move on with our little spider. Oh, sorry, there's more to this to go first. I'll come back when I've finished these ones, and then we'll continue on, not with the spider, with the web. Okay, see you soon. Okay, I'm back with you, and I've got all of those wrapped on now. So I showed you the first one there. You just do exactly the same thing all the way around. And as I said, just space them out the way that you like the look of them. And then just when you're done, just to make sure they're nice and firm, just go in and give your little wraps on the side here. Just a little tap in like that, just to set them in place. You don't have to worry about it too much because when we wrap the other wire around, it's going to hold everything in place. So now I've got a piece of 28 gauge wire. I just guesstimated the length of this. I've cut off 56 centimeters, which is 22 inches of 28 gauge wire. So we're just going to, hold on a sec, sorry, there's someone at my door. Okay, sorry about that. Usually the most people that knock on my door are people that are lost. And I had another lost one. And okay, so we've got our 28 gauge wire, and we're just going to attach that to the side here. So just a few wraps around. You can use your pliers to help you. Oh, come on. Okay, push those together. I'm just going to leave that guy hanging there for a moment until I've done this first lot of wraps. All right. Also to helps to hold on to it. So we're going to come over the top of our first part of our web there, and we're just going to wrap around. Get my pliers out of the way. Come here. So just making a wrap like that and pulling it in nice and tight. Most of you have probably seen this done before, this part. Just don't get kinks in your wire. Be careful of that. If I had to keep pulling, that would have ended up in a kink, which is not good for your wire. Also too, just space these where the way you want them. It's a spider web, it's not supposed to look perfect. And none of my, what am I going to say? None of my work is perfect anyway. So I've got that going. I'm going to bring that up again. You can do it however you like along here. You can wrap it twice around, wrap it once around, do one of each, whatever. As I said, remember it's a spider web. It's supposed to look organic. Just always making sure to keep your wire straight. I could do another double here if I wanted to, or a single, you know, just do whatever you feel like doing. It's all about having fun. I think there's a big great seller at a market stall, or, you know, online shop if you've got them, if you've got one. Actually, you could even use a 26 gauge wire here if you wanted to. I think I might have used a 26 gauge on my original one. I don't know. I made it a week or so ago, and I'm lucky if I remember what happened yesterday, let alone a week ago. Okay. Oh, it didn't go through. Ah, it's slipping out the top. That's what's happening. Silly me. Okay, then we're just going to tie this one onto the frame. And then wrap around a couple of times and bring it down to start our next line of spider web. So I'm bringing it down there. I'm going to wrap it around one more time. Okay, now I can start coming back this way, wrapping around. And if you enjoyed this video, guys, please don't forget to hit the like button for me, and leave me a comment. And if you're not subscribed and you enjoyed this and you'd like to take a look at some of the other work that I've done over the years, yeah, hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you're on a phone, there's a new thing called the hype button. So if you're on a mobile phone, yeah, if you would mind hitting the hype button, that'd be great too. Every little bit helps. Helps my channel get out there and get discovered by other people that would like to learn what I've got to teach. I know there's a lot of teachers, a lot of people out there doing what I do, but we're not all the same. We don't all do exactly the same thing, and we all have our different styles. So you learn something, you know, different from everybody. different little tips and tricks and different designs. Okay, well, I'm not going to keep going with this on camera because it's taking up too much time. So I'm going to do the same thing, come up to this one here, wrap around here, and then go back and finish the last one across and finish it off. So I'll come back when I'm getting up to this end here, ready to finish off. Okay, won't be long. Okay, I'm back with you. I finished wrapping off my spiderweb wire here, just a couple of wraps around and making sure that I you know, tap the end down, and the same with the one up the top that I left there before. So that's what our little spiderweb looks like, and I think it's beautiful. It's just different from anything I've seen anywhere on YouTube or whatever, because as I said before, normally they're the ones that, you know, spin out and go around. You've got the crossbars and all that sort of stuff in it. So I thought this, and I thought it's a little bit more classy looking as well. Okay, so we'll move on with our spider. I'm going to use a 6mm little, it's a crystal, a faceted crystal bead there. In the first one I did, which I'll show you a little bit later, I used a 4mm. So you can, you know, use whatever size you, you know, that you think is good. So now I've got a piece of 26 gauge wire. And why I'm using 26 gauge wire is because, especially with a 4mm bead, the holes were too small to fit through. This one looks a little bit bigger, so you could possibly use a 24 gauge there, but just remember you're going to get a bigger, chunkier looking spider, which, because I think this is such a delicate looking necklace, I don't think it requires a chunky looking spider. But again, totally up to you. That, you know, that's just my opinion and my taste. You decide what you like. So I'm just bringing these together, finding the, you know, the middle of that there, bringing those ends together, and I'm just going to thread them through the hole, both of them at the same time, which you should be able to do with a 6mm bead. And I'm going to bring that down to the end. And then you decide what size body you want on this. You don't want a really big one, because I think that would look a bit strange. But just bring it down. And just do this gently and carefully, because you could just straight off the end of the wire if you pull too hard. Okay, I'm just going to grab a pair of pliers here and move this in. I knew this would happen on camera. Off camera, this just slid exactly where I wanted it to. I didn't have to do any of this, but these things happen, and they may happen to you. So just move those wires in a little bit closer and just pull it down till you get what you think. I think that's a pretty good size body right there. Okay, then I'm going to take these two wires, one on each side, bring them around your bead. Excuse me. Bring them around, one behind and one over the top. So you've gone behind your bead and then over the top of your bead, like that. And look, it gives it a nice little heart-shaped bum. I think that's cute. You could actually, you don't have to leave it as a heart shape. You can push that in closer to your bead if you want it to wrap. And you could also bring these two wires up a little bit over the top of the bead if it's to make it look like you know, a stripe down the back of the spider. You know, you can do whatever you want with it. But I'm leaving mine like a little heart-shaped bum. Okay, and then we're going to grab a pair of pliers. We're going to thread this wire through, coming through our little loop there that we made, and just bring it through gently. And you want your little legs to be about 1 centimetre in length. This can be a little bit fiddly, especially because it's something tiny you're holding on to. And it's fiddly for me because I'm trying to do it on camera as well. So just, you can either guesstimate or you can just grab a tape measure, a ruler or whatever, and 1 centimetre. Mine's a little bit bigger than 1 centimetre. So I'm just going to pull that through a little bit more. Okay, I want to try and get this done as quick as I can. I don't want you guys to be bored with this stuff. I'm going to flatten that down. Oh, it's going to give me grief. Okay, just flatten him down a little bit like that. That's probably a bit bigger than 1 centimetre, but doesn't matter. I'm not worried about it. Okay, then we're going to make another one exactly the same. Come through. I don't think I've left myself enough wire. Oh, actually, I grabbed the wrong piece of wire. Look at that. I've got the right piece sitting right there. I grabbed a shorter piece that I was using for something else. All right, I'm just going to do one more leg, and then what I'll do, so try and make sure that they're the same size. What I'll do is I'll undo this, and then what I'll do, we're doing 4 of these legs, so I'll come back when I've got 4 of these legs done. So you're just doing what I'm doing here, but as I said, I need more wire. Can't believe I picked that up. So just roughly about the same size for each one. So that's 2, and then you would do your 3rd one. Bring them in, move them all down close together so you've got a bit more room. Keeping them all roughly the same size. They don't have to be exactly the same size. We have a lot of spiders here in Australia, and I can tell you now, I've seen plenty with odd size legs, so it doesn't really matter. So that's 3. I would do a 4th one there. So what I'll do is I'll get my actual piece of proper wire, and I'll come back when I've done the 4th one, and then we'll carry on from there. All right, sorry about that, guys. I can't believe I picked up the wrong piece of wire. And I'll be back in a sec. Okay, back with you, and I got my wire situation sorted out. So I've got my 4 legs done here. So what we need to do now is make the little pincer. So we're going to pop our wire through there again, through our little loop. And this one we're going to make about 1/2 centimetre in length. So these were 1 centimetre, this is 1/2 centimetre. So get through there, wire. And again, you know, you don't have to be exact, just get it roughly about that size. So you can see it's roughly about 1/2 of that. And I'm just going to give him a little pinch. You know, actually, I'm going to make him a little bit smaller. A little pinch into place. Okay, then what you would do is you would go along and do your other 4 legs on this side. But to speed this up a little bit, I'm just going to show you. So just imagine we've got everything, we're up to the same level on the other side here. I'm just going to grab my pliers, and I'm going to start twisting. So we just want to get these wires nicely twisted. If you can grab onto it. Just twisting like this. If you've seen this spider done before, you can just move forward on the video. But I think, you know, everybody does something a little bit different, maybe shows you a little bit of an easier way, or a bit of a trick, or something that you haven't seen before. So, you know, it's always worthwhile watching somebody else do a project. Now, I don't want those little loops on the bottom that I've seen on so many of these spiders, so I'm going to squish that loop in. Get him as flat as I can. Turn it to the side. So it just looks like that without a loopy thing on the bottom. I just think those loopy things just look horrible. That's just my opinion. Okay, moving on to the next one. So we're just going to twist all the way along, doing the same thing. So I'll do one more leg, and then what I'll do is I'll twist all of these, I'll do the legs on the other side because you've seen it once. You don't need to see it twice. I don't want to bore you for too long. And then we'll come back and finish the spider off and put the necklace together. So just get him nicely twisted. Just being sure not to over twist too much because you don't want to snap your wire. It is only 26 gauge wire, but you can twist it quite a bit. And see, I've got that nice little thing there. I'm just going to squeeze him down and make him flat. So it actually looks like a little leg and not these loopy things, which I've never seen on the bottom of a spider. So I'll continue on twisting those, do the legs and the little pincer up the other side here, and then I'll come back and we'll move on. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you too, which I didn't notice until I had to get another piece of wire. When I showed you to bring the wires around, you go one under the bottom and one under the top. I forgot to tell you to wrap once. So you're wrapping one wire this way, so the wires end up on the opposite side is what I'm trying to say. So you wrap around and bring that wire across this side, then wrap around and bring the other wire across that side, just to make a little loop there to keep your wires in place. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that before. Okay, so when I've done the legs, I'll come back. Okay, back with you. I've got all my little spider legs done there. So you'll have 2 pieces of wire left over like this, so just bring them up together. Grab a pair of round nose pliers. We're just going to make a loop. I'm going to bring that down a little bit closer. Okay, and we're just going to wrap that loop. Get your little legs out of the way or just maneuver around them. Mine don't want to get out of the way. Okay, you have to do the same thing for the legs on the other side. Just get out of there. Just maneuver around them. Now, your loops don't have to be perfect or anything like that. It is a spider. And as you know, I do organic looking jewelry. Anyway, I'm actually very terrible. Gosh, Linda. I'll see if I can fix that up in a minute. Okay, cut those off. And squish that down. Your little ends. Straighten him up a little bit. Get that leg out of the way first. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Then all you need to do is just, you know, play with your legs. Just make it look spidey-like. Push these ones back. Bend it over. Just give him a little bit of a knee. Push the other one on the other side back. Give him a knee. This one comes down. Give that one a knee. The little pincers go forward. And bent like that. And the same thing on the other side. Bend your pincer forward at an angle. So you just play around with them until you get them sitting the way that you like. I'm just doing mine very quickly here. I'll play with him a little bit more later. But he's pretty spidey looking there. Okay, so now we've got our frame, we've got our spider. Now also what you can do, actually I'll attach the chain. That I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do this. So I've got a little piece of chain here, little piece that I made myself, because I believe handmade is everything made with your hands. So I'll attach the spider to the chain. And then the other end. And just decide where you want to position it. You know, you can go anywhere you like. I'm going to go off to the side a bit. I think it looks nice off to the side. Oops. Make sure I've got him up the right way there. Just open that up a bit more. Okay, so we've got little Spidey hanging there like that. Now you can obviously have your chain any length you like. You can have a little short chain with your spider just about ready to get onto the web, or have him hanging down. You could have it hanging here, whatever. You could also add, which I'll show you in my first finished piece that I did. I've got a little 3mm, or you could use a 4mm, whatever. And I just attached a little bead up here, and what he actually represents is the spider's egg. So you could do that if you wanted to, totally up to you. So I'll show you another idea that I've had here. Now this one here, I used a 22 gauge wire for the actual spiderweb frame, so this part here, and then I used a 24 gauge for the wrapping, just to give it a thicker, chunkier look. It doesn't make it any heavier. They're both very light. As you can see, that one's a lot finer, so it just depends on what look you'd like to go for. Now I've got another little Spidey here. It's got a little purple bum on him, that one. So what I thought you could do with this is, I'm going to open this loop up a bit, is just for something different. Thread this on here, get your spider situated, close your loop up, then get a piece of 28 gauge wire, just a small piece, you don't need very much. And this is just to set the spider, because otherwise he's just going to flop around. You can leave him flopping around if you like, but I think he might get caught on things and stuff like that. So coming from behind, I'm going to come up through, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm going to come up through the spider's belly, so through the loop that we made that all the legs are attached to. Bring that over. Yeah, come up. How do I want to do this? Okay, Linda, think. Come up through between his legs. Pull that wire in nice and tight. Okay, I'm going to work on the right side here first, so go back down now through the body. Bring that wire in nice and tight so you can't see it. And then the other one's coming through the body, so we're going to go down between the legs. And pull it in nice and tight. And then just wire wrap it off at the back. So just find somewhere to attach it to. give me grief now, please. Just, oh, okay, I'm not going to fiddle around with that. Only because I don't want you guys to get impatient and move on. So you would just wire wrap, find, like as I did then, you'd wrap it around this bar here and around the other bar, and then finish it off and make sure your ends are tapped down. And that will keep your spider nicely in place. As you can see there, he's not, I can't flip him up and that. So he's nicely in place. He's on the web. And then if you wanted to do something a little bit different, rather, because your spider's up here now, you don't have him dangling down, you could just add a, you know, a little teardrop, something like that. This is a smooth black onyx that I've just wire wrapped. You could wrap it, you could attach it onto the frame, or you could just attach it with a jump ring. So you could do something like that. Don't pay attention to these wires sticking out the side. That's my impatience not to finish that off. But as I said, I don't want to hold you guys up too long. So there are two choices with that. As I said, you can make this chain smaller and have him right up close, ready to get onto the web. I'll show you the finished one, the first one that inspired this when I was playing around. So this is my first one here. He's got a little smoky quartz 4mm bead in for his bum, and there's the little spider egg attached. This one has already been oxidized and polished up. If you would like to know more about oxidizing and cleaning and polishing, I have a video that I did a couple of months ago. I'll leave a link up the top. I'll also leave a link down the bottom for that. Yeah, so he's just attached. I've made this a wire necklace like that. Everything on this is handmade, so it's just attached with chain, then going up to a jump ring that's been what do you call it, it's a burnished finish on it. I can't think of what it's called, won't come to my mind. Yeah, so anyway, that's on the chain there. So that's, I think, an absolutely beautiful pendant. And I would wear this not even just for Halloween. I would just wear it. But I think it's lovely enough. And yeah, I'm sure you'd get heaps of compliments on, you know, well, especially here in Australia, because we don't do Halloween. Maybe you guys not so much in the US and that, I don't know. And if you wanted another design, if you're a seed beader, I did a Halloween tutorial a couple of years ago for a pair of seed bead, the little skulls. And I yeah, did a tutorial for that. So I'll also leave a link up the top there for that, and I'll leave a link down the bottom if you'd like to have a look at that. It's easy. It's not a hard one. I think it's mostly brick stitch is what I did on that. So it's quite an easy one, but they turned out really, really cute. Yeah, so, okay, well, that's it for this tutorial for this week. I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to hit the like button. Also, leave me a comment down the bottom. I love to read what you all think about my tutorials, and, you know, people have suggestions and stuff like that, and just say hello. You know, that's lovely too, to know that you're out there and that you're actually watching and enjoying my videos. I have a private Facebook group, which I'll leave a link down the bottom in the description for that as well. It's a free group to join. It's a private group, so it's a safe group. We don't have any spammers or scammers or anything like that. You just need to agree to the rules to be admitted. If you don't agree to the rules, I won't admit you. I will send you a message saying why you weren't admitted, so you can reapply if you'd like to. All right, guys, that's enough gabbling on from me. Have a good one. I shall catch you all next week with something new again. Take care, and make sure you go out there and make something beautiful and have fun while you're doing it. Bye, guys.